all that matters.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Courtney. For those of you that I haven't met yet, I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody.
Nice.
All right. I'm just going to a few more minutes to see if anybody else hop in. And I hope you guys are all having a great Tuesday. Thank you for hopping in on, for us at least here, a beautiful day and coming to learn about gut health. This is actually like one of my favorite parts of the gut health journey is when you ladies are getting started because I love to see where you're at a few weeks down the road, a few months down the road, especially when you start implementing these steps, these habits that I'm about to show you. I love seeing all your guys' results and start seeing you get your lives back because that's why you're here, right? And I'm going to just go ahead and get started. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the chat. I'll get to them at the end, just because unfortunately it doesn't show me as I'm going through all this information with you, but I would love to answer them at the end. Alrighty. But welcome to my gut health masterclass. This is where I'm going to show you, ladies, the same blueprint that I give all of my clients. And a lot of these steps, and when they start implementing these in, we actually start seeing results for most of the women before we ever get lab results back. So these are like things that I love to focus on with them that I know if you started implementing them one at a time and focused on just small daily habits and being consistent with it, you ladies could have some great results. So this webinar is for you if you feel like your GI issues are just controlling your life. You're planning your day around bathroom access. You are worried about what you eat or drink every time you go to the restaurant, every time you are cooking dinner because you've gotten to a point you don't even know what you're eating is making your stomach so upset. Whether it's running to the bathroom, you know you're going to be constipated for the next 2, 3 days, 4 days, sometimes for a week. You're out with family, out with friends, and you're unbuttoning your jeans at the dinner table, like secretly hoping your shirt's covering the button because you just are so bloated and feel 6 months pregnant, or you have that outfit in the closet you've been wanting to wear, but you don't have the confidence to wear, the brain fog, the achy joints. This is for you because I want to give you the tools to help you all succeed. But this masterclass isn't for you if you're just looking for some quick results, a life hack, right? This one thing is going to solve all your gut issues when it's not going to, because typically your GI issues started with a bunch of small things that have just added up over time, whether it was weeks, whether it was months, whether it was years. So this isn't, if you're looking for just a quick hack, a quick tip that is just going to solve everything, or that magic pill, that magic product, this webinar isn't for you. And if you're just looking for somebody that will do quick labs, give you quick lab results with no plan on how to use those results to give you your advantage. And that way, you know, because those lab results don't come with step-by-step instructions. Okay, now do this. So if that's what you're looking for, I'm not going to be able to help you either. And if you are currently seeing any of the stuff, any of the symptoms I talk about, or any aha moments, put them in the chat because I promise you, somebody else here or watching later is going to be the similar to you, is going through the same thing. They're going to relate because I think sometimes with GI issues too, we feel very alone with it because it's such a private issue when it comes to diarrhea, when it comes to constipation. It's something we don't like to talk about. So we kind of keep it within, which stresses us more, which stresses our gut. So just throw it in the chat if you're comfortable enough. Because I'm sure somebody is going through the same thing as you or similar, or is understanding your struggles. But by the end of this webinar, I'm giving you the roadmap, the blueprint to start improving your gut health, the small daily habits to focus. And that's going to be without the boring diet. You don't have to be super restrictive. I think it's been sold to women that if you just want to feel better, eat less, lose weight, and it's not always that way. So this isn't, or that you have to give up everything you love and everything you want to eat, and that's not true. So you can improve your gut health without a super restrictive, boring diet, without random medications. And even with the craziest, busiest schedule, there's tips and tricks to help you out. And then just trying to give you back the confidence again on what to make for dinner, what to order at a restaurant, because that worry is now gone on what you should be eating. And then just knowing the importance of root cause healing instead of chasing symptoms. It's natural for us to want to chase the symptoms or think each thing is its own individual issue because they don't all arrive at the same time. I suffered from that myself when I was healing my gut. But for those of you ladies that do not know me, I am Dr. Courtney. I am a graduate. Whoop, I am a graduate at Palmer Chiropractic. I became a chiropractor and then turned into the local virtual gut health chiropractor. And I did that for so many different reasons. One, I was having so many chiropractic patients come into my office that were telling me their symptoms. And I was like, this goes far above and beyond chiropractic. Like, these are all gut health issues. And I was recognizing that thanks to my own gut health issues that I dealt with almost 10 years ago. And I realized that I could do more for them. So that's when I started focusing so much more on gut health within my office and helping women across the US. And I've been featured in Stroll magazine. I write monthly gut tips articles to them. And I've been on Paula Sands Live. That's been a couple years now. I am currently the health and wellness expert for the Real Quad Cities. They are a social media company. And then I am mom to a beautiful daughter and wife to my man-child of a husband that I love dearly. That I always joke he's my first child. But I'm Dr. Courtney, and it's so nice to meet you, ladies. So healing my gut and the way I live today was not always like this for me. I was miserable. I was frustrated. I was terrified to drink coffee in the morning because I had a 20-minute commute that sometimes I wasn't going to make it. I literally knew every cashier at every gas station or public access bathroom between my school and my house because I didn't know when the coffee was going to hit. I didn't know when breakfast was going to hit. And now I'm driving a 45-minute commute without a worry. I can have 3 cups of coffee. I can have 1 cup of coffee. I can have a pot of coffee, and I'm not worried about it. I was avoiding restaurants and social gatherings if I knew there was limited bathroom access, or if I known something on that menu before had sent my stomach into knots and I wasn't sure, I didn't need it to hit at that time. And I remember everything I ate was like swallowing a matchstick. My hair started falling out. My gut actually got so bad I was no longer absorbing nutrients anymore. So I've been in your shoes. I've been miserable, frustrated. I was avoiding colonoscopies. I was told just take this medication, you'll feel better. This will solve all your problems. But I remember going, I'm in my 20s. I should not be dealing with this. And then I started seeing it across the board as I was dealing with it for women in their 20s all the way up into their 70s. And they were all told the same things. Your labs are normal. This medication will solve everything. And a lot of them had colonoscopies that gave them more questions than answers. And I remember my joints would ache. I would wake up in the morning like I was hungover without drinking and just having no energy, just wondering what did I do the night before? What did I eat the night before that made me feel so miserable? And as I healed my own gut and got to the root cause and quit chasing symptoms and trying all the tricks and trying all the trends I was seeing and actually started studying gut health, that changed everything. I got control of my gut again. I got control of my life again. And then I wanted to do the same for other women. And I never knew how to go about it until within the last couple years, as I started seeing chiropractic patients go through it, my own family going through it. So now I'm ready to help you ladies as well. So what I realized was missing, and this might be keeping you stuck too, is the main things that make up our gut. And the once I made these shifts and once I started implementing these in my life, that's when I started noticing the changes. And it wasn't a quick fix over the night thing. This was something that took weeks and months to do. And it was small, subtle changes in those small daily things that you start going, oh, hey, I can drink that coffee and I'm not running to the bathroom. Oh my God, I had this dish at my favorite restaurant and I wasn't bloated. It's going to be those little, small, subtle changes because it was those little, small habits that got you there. But once you make these shifts that I'm about to show you, these blueprints, you never have to keep guessing on what you eat. You get your confidence back. You can start going about your life again without the bloat, the diarrhea, the constipation. Get back to the hobbies you've been avoiding, those social gatherings, those moments of when you're at work and that's when the horrible gas hits you. Like those worries all disappear. And it doesn't have to be a complete lifestyle overhaul overnight, which I think a lot of us try to do from the beginning is like we want to do 100% lifestyle overhaul. I'm going to start and be healthy and I'm going to do this 100% perfect every single day and it doesn't stick. So now I'm going to show you just the small habits that you can implement one at a time. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different lifestyle. Some people are busier than others. Some people's lives are more hectic. So if you need to do one at a time, do it. Focus on one shift for 1 month, master it. Next month, focus on the next one. That's what I do with a lot of my clients. I have some people that do it by week. I have some people that need to focus on one shift for multiple months. So it's about finding what's going to work with your lifestyle. And this is how I got here. I haven't, this is what makes me qualified to teach you ladies all of this is I have invested a lot of time and money in gut health classes, learning your microbiome, learning the function of your body as a whole, but also suffering from it and coming from the perspective of a patient as well. So I know your perspective. I know what you're going through. I'm not just kind of assuming and then just giving you advice. And I haven't had gut issues now in almost 8 years, 8 going on 9 years. I've helped several women lose inflammation weight. They were struggling with weight loss. All we did was clean up their gut health and they started dropping all this weight that was from inflammation. They started having regular bowel movements. They're getting optimal labs now with their PCP. I've had a handful get off medications. Started having more energy and less pain. They're getting back to chasing their kids, their grandkids. And as I was stating earlier, I'm the current health and wellness expert for Real Quad Cities. I write gut health monthly tips for Stroll magazine. And I did all of this in healing my gut without an endless amount of supplements that you need to buy or restrictive boring diet or having to become this master chef. How many times have you tried to get healthy and you stood in your kitchen and felt like you needed to create the perfect recipe for dinner to feel better? You don't have to do that. You can make this so simple. So, as I said, I invested a lot of time, money, classes, learning the gut microbiome to heal my own gut. And now I'm just sharing what I learned in my own experiences with you. I also wasted a lot of time doing all the tricks, the trends. This one tip is going to solve all your problems. This one probiotic is going to solve all your problems. This one supplement is going to solve all your problems. I tried them and they didn't work. And that was because I was chasing the symptoms and not getting to the root cause. And then I was also working with a lot of doctors that were doing the same thing. They were chasing the symptoms, and it ultimately led me in the wrong direction. And I want to lead you all in the right direction because I believe a lot of you women are here today because you're tired of being led in the wrong direction. You're tired of going to appointment to appointment to appointment to be told labs are normal. There's nothing wrong with you. Just eat this, eat less of that. There's no real guidance. And I want to make it as simple and as streamlined and supportive as possible because that's when your habits are going to stick, is when you keep them simple. We're human, we're simple creatures when it comes to these things. And that's what I want for you. And it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter how busy your schedule is, there is a way to do it. So, even if you only took today just one shift to start implementing in, I'm going to be more than happy. And you should be able to start seeing results from that, no matter how big or how small, just because everybody's different. But if you can take away one shift and start implementing it tonight, tomorrow, that's going to be so amazing for you. And I'm going to be so happy. And I hope you guys always reach out to me with updates of how you're doing, that kind of stuff, because I love seeing it. So let's dive in because I want to start with the first one. And the first one's most important. And I actually annoy a lot of my clients with it because I hound on it so much because it's also so hard to get into at first. And that is mindset. And what a lot of people don't realize is how tied your brain is with your gut, whether it is the mindset of what, like, staying motivated, staying consistent, but also your gut is the second brain of your body because it's all connected by one vagus nerve. And so, not my biggest thing first is to getting a lot of women who need to get out of this all or nothing mindset where you think you need to do everything 100% perfect every single day in order to feel better and get results. And then you have one bad day because that's life. No days are perfect. And not every day is perfect, anyways. And so you're always starting over on Monday. I want to get people out of that mindset. Consistency is so much better than perfection. That's when you see the results. Plus, when you're trying to be perfect with this all the time, you stress your gut out more because you're stressed. Or is I need to get you out of the mindset because you're not getting quick enough results. So we're going to try this new thing now 2 weeks later. Give your body grace. It took weeks, months, days for you to be feeling this way today. So give your body that much time to start feeling better too. And then we live in a very busy, stressful lifestyle society anymore. So a lot of the times our body is stuck in a fight or flight mode. And when that happens, our digestion actually slows down. Our body quits absorbing stuff. And then we kind of end up in this negative feedback loop where we have a unhealthy gut. It's making us miserable. It stresses us out, but that stress is also making our gut more unhealthy. And when it's been going on for so long because our gut and brain are so connected, that's when you start seeing things like anxiety, depression, brain fog. So this is where I love to start because I want to get you guys out of that all or nothing perfection and perfectionist mindset. And then that's when things start getting easy and clicking. Um, when we're in stress or flight mode and it slows the digestion, that's when we start feeling bloat, diarrhea, constipation, and that can even come down to just negative thoughts. Your body does not know the difference between fighting off a bear and a negative thought. So that's where we end up in the negative feedback loop. We're having these negative thoughts, we're stressing our body out, making us have more negative thoughts. So it's kind of, there's no perfect way to do it other than waking up one morning and say, I'm just going to focus on this. I'm going to focus on this one small daily habit and then go from there instead of trying to be perfect with everything you see at with gut health at once. So when you lock in that mindset, that's when your habits begin to stick. The program doesn't seem to be too hard. You start seeing results, and then you start enjoying the little things again that you didn't realize you weren't enjoying anymore. So I had a client that basically almost quit before she even started. She was almost a month in and I couldn't get her to do anything. I couldn't get her to focus on any of the foundations. I couldn't get her to cut foods out. I couldn't get her to work on her mindset. She just kind of shut it off. And it literally took one day of realizing on vacation how miserable she really was because she was over analyzing everything. She realized she was overanalyzing everything. She needed to be this master chef with these perfect recipes to feed her family. Um, and then she was on vacation and was realizing how miserable she truly was because they had to constantly keep stopping for her to go to the bathroom. She was scared to eat. And so she finally woke up the next morning going, okay, I'm focusing just on this because I have to do something. I can't be perfect about this. Like, I'll figure it out with my family. I just need to focus on this. And she instantly, within weeks, was dropping inflammation weight. She pulled out her favorite pair of old jeans that she hadn't worn in years. She actually had to go to the store, buy more jeans in a smaller size. And it all happened within weeks of that one mindset shift change of waking up the next morning and deciding, I'm just going to focus on this one thing, which was huge. And I love it because now, since then, things have gotten so easy for her. Her results are skyrocketing. And on top of that, we didn't even have her lab results back. She started getting these results before we even got those lab results back to create monthly meal plans for her. So if you are currently struggling with that lifestyle overhaul, that all or nothing mindset, just find something to just focus on that you know is improving your gut health and just tee in on that. And then everything else will start falling into place. So shift number two, this one I also annoy all my clients with, and that is protein. If you're not eating enough protein, we are made of protein. And most women today do not eat enough protein daily to sustain your body. And a lot of women think too with protein, they just think of muscle, right? Muscles to lift weights, look big, look strong. But our organs need it too. Our organs are ultimately muscles. So protein is actually what makes up our gut lining. And when our gut lining is weak, that's when we start having a weakened immune system. We start getting sick more. We start having leaky gut. Our immune system becomes overreactive. And that's when we start developing food sensitivities. So foods that you used to love and eat that now make you sick and miserable. That's why. If lead into autoimmune diseases when it's been going on for too long. They've been finding ties to MS, rheumatoid arthritis, even now for people that develop celiac disease later on in life is because they've had gut health issues for too long. And we also need protein for our digestive enzymes. If we're not getting enough protein, your body can't break down a lot of the food and nutrients you are eating to absorb. And when that gut lining is weak, we're not going to absorb a whole lot, whether it's a supplement, whether it's a probiotic. So we got to start with protein to repair your gut lining. And this is also why too we get those achy joints, is because the ligaments, the tendons from our muscles, all of that need protein. They need to be fed. But protein also helps with us staying fuller longer. So we're not craving as many sweets or as many carbs, because that's our body looking for that quick hit of energy because we don't have anything, or our body is now taking our muscle to use for energy. And that's why you feel like you're getting weaker. And that's why it also regulates your blood sugar levels. So if we're not eating enough protein to build muscle, and muscle regulates our blood sugar levels, that's when we're hitting those 2 p.m. slumps throughout the day and feel like we have to survive off of caffeine to finish out the day and just have no energy. So protein is one of my main things that we hit on before labs are even ordered. And my general rule of thumb is 30 grams of protein at least every single meal. And you need that for a reason. And that's to keep you in a muscle building, fat burning state. Think of your organs as a muscle too, right? It's got to move everything you eat through your body. And so you need at least 30 grams of protein for your body to even be able to be in that state. And you also want to make sure it is a diverse variety of meat, because they all have their own set of nutrients. So focus on salmon, red meat. Red meat has always been delegated as this horrible meat. You need to avoid it, but there's a lot of nutrients in red meat that you can only get from red meat. So be diverse on it as possible. Fish, chicken, beef. I think a lot of the times people think when getting healthy, they need to be on this restrictive diet of like just chicken and broccoli. No, we need the variety. And if also too, if we're not getting enough protein, we can't detox correctly. So that's when we're getting some menopausal symptoms. We can't lose the weight because we're storing estrogen now because our body can't get rid of it. So protein is huge. That number as well fluctuates depending on you personally. So some women, I say you need to eat way more. It just depends on what your symptoms are, what your health goals are, your current body type. But 30 grams of protein is my general rule of thumb, just to keep you in that muscle building state. And when women start getting enough protein, they start absorbing nutrients better. Their immune system gets stronger. They notice they're getting sick less often. They're having more energy now. I had one client that realized she wasn't getting tired with her grandkids anymore. She could play with them in the backyard. So eating plenty of protein can make the biggest difference for you. I had another client, she has rheumatoid arthritis and pretty badly, and she started having less aches and pains in her joint because we were now getting rid of the inflammation in her body. Her body could do what it needed to do. Her gut can now do what it needed to do. And this previous client, she worked out like crazy. She was the one that felt like she was doing everything right. She was trying to lose weight. She was working out. She wasn't eating very much food, doing all the things that we have been taught, like to feel better as women, is to eat less, work out more. She was doing it all. Thought she was eating all the best foods, but she was not getting enough protein. And within 2 months, she was doing the body fat scans and everything. Within 2 months, she dropped fat and retained muscle, and she was working out harder than she ever had before. She was doing it without getting sore. So she was getting sick less often. She worked for the school. So, and it was just that one change of focusing more on protein and making sure we're getting plenty of protein. And shift number 3. This one is huge as well, too. And this is a hill that I will die on. Not everybody needs a probiotic. Unfortunately, probiotics have been marketed and sold as the holy grail of going to solve all your gut issues. But more often than not, when I get lab results back, I tell my clients, you do not need to take a probiotic. It a lot of the times, and that could be for a multitude of reasons, but most of the time, a lot of us don't need the probiotic. So signs that you may not need the probiotic to begin with. If when you do take it, your bloating, diarrhea, or constipation get worse, typically you're going to see more bloating or diarrhea. You only get relief for about a week or two and your symptoms come back, or they come back with a vengeance. Like it's the worst diarrhea you've had in months. It's the worst. Um, Sorry, I have my daughter on the baby camera and I just caught her climbing on something. You have the worst diarrhea you've had in months, the worst bloat you've had in months, or you feel like nothing is happening. And that could just be because it was never a great probiotic to begin with product, or you never needed it. And there's unfortunately a lot of cheap probiotics out there, which is why when I do tell my clients that you do need a probiotic, we focus on whole foods more than anything. You can get them from what you're eating. So things like yogurt, if you can tolerate dairy, sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, miso, fermented pickles, as long as it's not vinegar based. But when I tell my clients that they don't need a probiotic, a lot of their issues is coming from the fact that they need more prebiotics. And this is where my biggest shift is for women. And it's not the fact that the hill to die on is that not everybody needs a probiotic, is a lot of women need to start focusing on prebiotics. They are the fuel for the good gut bacteria within your gut. Our gut is made up of good bacteria and bad bacteria. So we want to make sure we're getting enough fuel for the good bacteria so they can thrive and do their job. If you are not used to taking prebiotics, make sure you start slowly. You don't implement them into every single meal because you can bloat if your gut's already inflamed. It's going to get irritated easily. So this is where coaching helps on how much you should eat and when you should eat it. But otherwise, I tell people to focus on prebiotics with whole foods as well. So garlic, onions, leeks, asparagus, bananas while they're still green, chicory root. Those are all great prebiotics. And when I was talking about the good bacteria and the bad bacteria balance, if you're craving a lot of sweets and carbs too, that can also be because we have a bad bacteria overload and they have taken over our gut. Protein will help with that. So getting more protein in will help get rid of the bad bacteria, and we're not going to stop feeding the bad bacteria, right? So if you focus on protein, you're going to have less sweet and carb cravings. If you choose to take a probiotic and you don't want to get it through Whole Foods, which I have probiotics on my shelf. I don't need them all the time, but they are great for when you're on antibiotics because antibiotics wipe out all bacteria in your gut. And that's why after getting sick, it feels like you get sick again pretty easily. So if I know, like I recently had a last second operation, they naturally put me on antibiotics. I knew preemptively I was going to be on antibiotics. So I started taking a probiotic to help my good gut bacteria start flourishing. And if you guys, I haven't posted it yet on my social media, but if you have not found me on social media, I will have which products I use on there. But if you know you're going to be on antibiotics, it does not hurt to take a probiotic supplement to be on top of it and to be ahead of it. Or life gets in the way. We haven't made it to the grocery store yet. We're not eating a very diverse set of veggies and fruits and that kind of stuff and getting probiotics from Whole Foods. I live a very busy lifestyle. Sometimes I don't get to the grocery store the day I plan to. So then that's when I also take a probiotic to help my gut out a little bit, just because I know I didn't get enough that day. They're meant to fill in the gaps, then be this holy savior of your gut. And when you look at probiotics, read the label. Reading the label is so important. You want it to have more than 50 billion CFUs. That means colonizing forming units. That's how many probiotic or how many bacteria are in there. You want more than 50 billion, and you want it to be very diverse of species and subspecies. There's a lot of them out there that are just like 4 different strains of lactobacilli. That's not very diverse. You want ones that contain lactobacilli, Phytobacterium, and bonus points if you find one that says streptococcus on there. And before you go streptococcus, there's actually good strains of streptococcus out there that are gut needs. So if you can find a probiotic with those 3 on there to help you fill in those gaps, that's going to make a huge difference as well too. But like I said, not everybody needs a probiotic. And this is where comprehensive functional lab testing comes in. But when you balance that gut bacteria, the good and the bad, that's when your bloat, your diarrhea starts slowly going away. You start becoming more regular. Those genes start fitting better. We start having less inflammation within our gut. You start getting confident again. You start doing things again that you haven't done in a long time. You're back to going on date nights. You're back to going to those social gatherings because you're not having the fear anymore of diarrhea or constipation or that abdominal pain just hitting you at the worst times. So one of my other clients, she was struggling with constipation bad and she didn't know what was causing the constipation. She was going maybe 1 time a week. And she was taking a probiotic and we got her lab results back. I was like, quit taking the probiotic. We're going to focus on whole foods and protein. And within that, her constipation started disappearing. She became regular. She was going every single day. She was no longer having severe bloating. She would go out to a Mexican restaurant and then just come home. And she said she was basically useless on the couch for the rest of the day. She wasn't having that issue anymore. She never needed the probiotic, but because that was what was seen all over social media, just take this probiotic. It's going to solve all your gut issues. It was actually making her symptoms worse. So tell me in the chat, which one of these shifts do you feel like is the most important for you to make right now? Which one of these is where you feel like maybe this is actually what has been keeping me stuck this entire time? And this is why I haven't gotten better, or this is why I haven't seen the results I've wanted to see, or why my symptoms are even getting worse is because maybe I haven't been doing these. And what would that shift do for your life? Like, picture yourself where, if you were feeling better, what would you be doing right now? Whether it's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months from now, what would you be doing? What do you miss? I've had clients who have missed going on road trips with their husbands. And now that is the one thing they look forward to because she doesn't have to keep emergency toilet paper in her car anymore. So I want you to focus on one of those things and go from there. Add the other ones in later, but start with the most important one that's going to get you the results that you want to get and the type of life you want to get back to. And how is it going to affect the ones around you as well, too? How many date nights have you avoided with your husband or your spouse? How many social gatherings have you missed? Or how many times you were at your favorite restaurant and you wanted this meal, but you're terrified it was going to send you to the bathroom. And so now you're kind of stressing out your family a little bit because now you were stressing. I don't want that for you anymore. I want you to get your lives back and enjoy lives with those closest to you. And would it be okay with you if I showed you the reality that you can have with my coaching when we dive in deep? So it is personalized to you, your situation, your lifestyle, because nobody is the same, especially when it's led by lab results. And that is my Feeling Gutsy Gut Health program. And it's one-on-one personalized programs that are aimed to support you and getting to the root cause of your issues. And so we're focusing on the right things that are going to fit with your life and your lifestyle. So, what I've seen from previous clients, they start getting more energy throughout the day. They're getting back to hobbies they haven't been to in a long time. They're chasing their kids, their grandkids, they're getting active again. I've actually had some now that they're being less active because they don't feel like they need to go to the gym for 2 hours to feel better or try to lose weight or get rid of their gut issues because they thought their weight was what was causing all their gut issues. They started physically feeling better and feeling back into their body again. They became more headstrong. They became happier. They became more positive because we had that gut brain communication working better. They weren't stressing about little things anymore. They became full of gratitude and more blessed for all the things they had instead of being in a negative feedback loop. The confidence, the self growth, because I'm giving you the tools to support your gut health no matter what stage you are in life. Whether you aren't part of the program anymore and this is years down the road, you have the tools to support your gut. Whether you're sick, no matter which restaurant you go to, when life hits you hard and fast, we all have those times and moments in life. You have the tools to support your gut and feel good, so that way when you get through that hard part of life, you're not also dealing with the consequence of an unhealthy gut because of everything you just went through. You have the tools to support your gut through it. I have seen spouses begin joining in. They're finding healthy recipes that fit within the meal plans. I have one client who's now writing a cookbook, but her husband is helping her and loves to bake, but her husband's helping her build it. She loves to bake. So he was also finding all these recipe inspiration and be like, hey, you miss baking. Try this one. This one doesn't look to be like it's going to inflame your gut. I love seeing spouses join in on it, or they start picking up the habits themselves, and that becomes huge. And then they start getting changes without realizing it. And most of all, they just feel like they have control of their lives again and their body. So this program is for you if you are waiting to get you're wanting that support, the guidance to be able to go out to eat without worry, to be able to chase your kids, your grandkids, go to that work meeting without worrying you're going to have horrible gas through it in front of your boss, or for the woman who's been chasing symptoms, or the person that's been avoiding special occasions because there's no bathroom there. This program is for you. So the most important part of my program is I do monthly one-on-one coaching sessions where it is 45 minutes of me and you. We're diving in deep. What is working? What is not working? What do we need to tweak? How can we incorporate it best into your lifestyle? That way we can keep you moving forward instead of you guessing. And I'm with you every step of the way through it, throughout the entire program, no matter which exact program you are in. You get accountability and support every week. So you can literally text me or call me whenever you have those questions in between those monthly one-on-ones. You you get that support. You get weekly check-ins whether we're meeting or not, because then that way we can see what needs to be tweaked, what doesn't need to be tweaked, what's working for you, what's not working, where are we struggling. That's what those check-ins are for. And most of all, I want to eliminate the guesswork, especially when it comes to where you can't figure out what foods are aggravating you and which ones aren't. And that's where comprehensive functional lab testing comes into play. I have a range of tests I do depending on who you are, what your symptoms you're going through, and what your health goals are. And those tests too can also range anything from a GI map, what makes up your gut inside and out, to food sensitivity, to, okay, maybe this is a metabolism issue. Let's focus on your metabolism. And if you are looking for guided steps, educational resources, I actually have a whole member portal with those in there for you. So that way in your monthly one-on-ones, you don't have to worry about taking 200 notes. I have it for you right then and there, and I'll tell you which PDF that you'll need to download so you have those guided steps. Online courses, because I have learned when you understand why everything I'm teaching you or adding into your lifestyle is important for your gut and for your healing, it's easier for those habits to stick. And only you guys get access to the stuff. If you're not a member, you don't get access to it. And I am in the process of creating a whole community where you guys can work together, where you can give each other recipe ideas. If you're currently going through something, you're wondering if somebody else is having the same struggles throughout the program, you can throw it in there. They can give you support and guidance. I can do the same as well, too. And the free or cheap route that a lot of you guys have probably been doing for a while now. Try this trick, try this trend, do this thing. This is going to solve all your issues. But a lot of the times you're trying to piece together everything and create your own plan. And then you start second guessing yourself when the results don't come right away, or you're a few weeks in, your symptoms are getting worse. I don't want that for you. I've done it myself. I've done it. I did it for years. I did it for way too long. And if I had that, hindsight's always 2020. If I just got to the root cause from the beginning instead of trying to do all the free stuff through it, I would have definitely had gotten results soon. And because you were chasing the symptoms and trying to piece and guess everything together, is it really free, or is it just costing you more time, more money? 6 months from now, you're still feeling awful, or you're feeling worse, you're becoming more frustrated, more uncertain, more in pain, and instead of actually getting to where you want to go. So with all of my clients, I try to streamline things as fast as possible with the root cause of your symptoms, what to focus on, what to do next. Let's get this one mastered, then we'll move on to this. And having the supports of the ups and downs of healing. Not every day is a great result day. Sometimes we plateau, sometimes we struggle for a few weeks, sometimes life hits us hard and fast and we kind of fall off the wagon a little bit. That's what that support and guidance is there for, is to keep you on the right track and make steady progress instead of constantly starting over. So these are all results from my previous clients and some of my current clients who have been checking in with me. So if this sounds like you and what you're looking for, are you ready to make this possible? Are you ready to feel better? And if that is true, I want you to book a complimentary consult with me. And so we can find out what your health goals are, because my program is not a perfect fit for everybody. So I want to make sure it is the right fit for you, your symptoms, your health goals, and where to begin and where we're going to end and what tests are right for you. All right, technology. Awesome. So I do see I have something in the chat. Mainly shift two, but shift one is right behind it. Shift three, I've never really thought much of it. And honestly, I see that actually quite a bit. A lot of women need to focus on protein first. And then the mindset, some people are the other way around. I am going to put the link for a complimentary consult. If you are ready to get started and to start feeling better, I'm putting that here for you. So we can see if this program is a right fit for you. I see I already have, I know I saw in here, I already had a couple clients who are just starting their program, whether they're in my local program or whether they're on my online programs. But I do see protein being the biggest shift that comes first behind mindset. And for some people, mindset needs to come first. A lot of people don't think about shift three on probiotics just because it has been so played into this is how to heal your gut. All right, I'm open for Q&A. Any questions? You can unmute or you can put in the chat. No? Well, I'm going to let you ladies get back to your Tuesday. I am so happy that you all came. I hope you implement and start at least one of these shifts. And then if you do and you start seeing results, let me know. DM me, email me, whatever it might be. But I want to wish you all the absolute best. Bye.